Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to talk about something that's a massive, hidden cost in a lot of industries, the sheer chaos of service part packaging. You know, it might not sound that exciting, but when a multi-million-dollar machine goes down, how you pack one tiny replacement part, that can literally make or break your business.
So just picture this for a second. Somewhere out there in the world, one of your customers' most important machines has just ground to a halt. Every single second that thing is down, it is costing them an absolute fortune. They need a part, and of course, they need it yesterday. The pressure is on.
And here's the crazy part. This shipment, the most urgent, high-pressure one you have, is also the most vulnerable link in your whole supply chain. And more often than you'd think, the point where it all falls apart isn't the shipping company or the part itself.
Nope.
It's the box you put it in.
See, this isn't like sending out thousands of iPhones. We are talking about what's called the high-mix, low-volume challenge. It means you have a massive variety of different parts, all different sizes, different weights, different levels of fragility, and you have to get every single one of them packed perfectly and out the door right now. It is a total logistics nightmare.
Okay, so let's really get into it. Because while this whole situation can feel like total chaos, the problems, well, they actually show up as four very clear signals. These are the red flags in your supply chain. If you spot these, you'll know you've got a packaging problem on your hands.
So what are these four signals? First, you've got a wild growth of all different kinds of packaging. Second, a tangle of confusing labels. Third, you're constantly having to repack parts. And fourth, you're getting damaged parts sent back from customers. We're going to break down every single one of these. All right, signal number one, this wild growth. This is when there's zero consistency. The same exact part shows up in 5 different types of boxes, most of them way too big, with the part just rattling around inside. It's a dead giveaway that there's no real company policy. It's wasteful, it's inefficient, and honestly, it just looks really unprofessional.
The second signal is this mess of labels. The source material calls it a rearwar, which is just a great word for a tangle or a jumble. You've got old labels still on the box, new ones slapped on top. It's a recipe for disaster. It leads to missed deliveries, shipments getting stuck in quarantine, and, you guessed it, a very angry customer who's still waiting for their machine to get fixed.
Now for signal number 3, constant repackaging. And this number, it's just staggering. In 90%, that's 90, of large supply chains, parts are constantly being repacked. And why? Well, maybe the original box got damaged, or it's covered in old labels, or it just doesn't meet your shipping standards. It is a massive waste of time, materials, and labor, and it goes against pretty much every lean principle in the book.
And the last signal, damaged returns. So when a customer sends a broken part back to you so you can figure out what went wrong, what do? They just grab whatever box they have lying around and toss it in. This means the part gets beat up even more on the trip back to you, completely destroying any chance you have of finding the original reason it failed. You lose incredibly valuable data.
So we've seen all the signals of this chaos. But why? Why is this so incredibly common? Let's dig a little deeper and unpack the root causes that are hiding just beneath the surface.
Okay, the first big reason is that people just reuse the box the part came in from the supplier. But here's the problem. Your supplier's packaging was designed for one thing, a simple one-way truck trip to your warehouse. That box was never, ever meant to handle the shocks of air freight, the vibrations on a container ship, or the huge climate swings of a global journey. Their simple trip is not your complex reality.
The second root cause is something I think we can all relate to. Really bad or just non-existent instructions. So many companies are still using these paper instruction sheets, maybe with a grainy photo. But let's be real, in an age of smartphones and YouTube tutorials, who actually stops to read a paper manual anymore? And I mean, just think about the sad life of that paper manual. It's carefully created, sure. Then it gets shoved in a drawer. Within a month, it's already outdated. The veteran staff, they just ignore it because they have their own way of doing things. And the temp workers you bring in when you're busy, they never even knew it existed. The whole system is just fundamentally broken.
The third cause is, well, it's painfully simple. It's just time pressure. On the packing floor, speed is everything.
The packers, they don't have time to go on a scavenger hunt for the one perfect box for each part. So what do? They grab the one that's closest and looks big enough. It's a choice that makes sense in the moment, but it leads to really wasteful results for the whole company.
And that brings us to the fourth cause. Every single link in the supply chain is optimizing for itself, and only for itself. The part producer optimizes for their production line. Your warehouse optimizes for speed. And your customer, well, they optimize for their convenience when they send a part back. Everyone is making the right decision for their little piece of the puzzle, but the result is a domino effect of bad choices that just guarantees waste and damage down the line.
So here's the crucial thing to understand. These are not just a few isolated mistakes. They are all symptoms of a deeply broken, disconnected process. The solution isn't just to buy a better box. The real solution is to create a unified, centrally managed system.
And that solution actually has a name. It's called packaging uniformity. And it's exactly what it sounds like. It's about applying one consistent, smart packaging policy across your entire supply chain. The goal is to make sure every part gets packed the right way every single time, no matter who is doing the packing.
And there's a huge side benefit here. Your brand image. I mean, think about it. The package is often the very first physical thing your customer ever touches from your company. When you go from a random, beat-up box to a clean, professional, uniform package that instantly says quality, it reinforces the value of the critical part that's inside.
But look, it's not just about looking good. There are massive, and I mean massive, financial benefits to doing this. I just want you to look at this number for a second. 1 million euros.
That's how much Philips Healthcare saves by implementing this kind of strategy. But get this, that's not per year. That is 1 million euros saved per quarter, every 3 months. By putting in a smart, uniform system, they save that much on just packaging and transport costs alone. The financial impact is just enormous.
So let's just recap the results here. When you put a uniform system in place, what do you get? You get fewer errors and way less damage. You lower your transport volume and your costs. You completely eliminate all those random operator-dependent choices on the floor. You build a much more professional brand image, and maybe most importantly, you gain full control over this critical piece of your supply chain.
And that really brings us to the final question, the one you should be asking yourself. After hearing all this, is your packaging a strategic asset that protects your parts and builds your brand? Or is it just an accident waiting to happen? Thanks for watching The Explainer.